Let me say hello, Eric
Hi.
Morrell. Nice to
Morning.
meet you.
How are you, Mark?
Okay, Mark. So, welcome to my office. I appreciate you coming down. It sounds like you had a little bit of an issue, and I want to discuss it. First, tell me who referred you to my office.
I got referred to you from someone in, was it BNI or something like that?
Did I represent a friend of yours that was a member
Yeah,
of that group?
he knew someone in the group, and they had got jammed up a little bit. So.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. So, you came to the right place. I am a criminal defense attorney. This is basically all that I do. I also specialize in DWI. I'm a member of a DWI group where we meet every few months and we discuss updates and changes in the law. I just went to a seminar the other day, so I'm very familiar with all the cutting edge issues regarding to DWI law.
They said you had a good result for them. So.
Yeah, and usually because I'm familiar with the law and my personality is to fight, I'm able to get good results. So let me hear a little bit about your case, and I'll discuss what I could do for you, and your issues, and how I could get you the best results.
Sure. So, it was just one night, one random night. My girlfriend and I were coming back from Red Bank.
Okay, so you're in Red Bank.
We had a couple of drinks.
Okay.
Nothing exorbitant, nothing over the top, but we were coming home late. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. It was cold. It was a little wet. It was a little rainy, and I got pulled over. The cop think that I was kind of swerving, or maybe wasn't maintaining my lane, and he gave me the field sobriety test, and then ultimately gave me a ticket for DWI.
Okay, so here's how I normally do my intake. We first discuss you, and I want to hear a little bit about you, because I want to be able to say nice things about you and hear about who I'm representing, who I'm putting my arm around.
I'm not a good guy.
I think you are, and I think once we go through it, we'll be able to get some good things about you. And then I want to discuss any prior history, if you've ever been pulled over before, or if you've ever been arrested before, and then we're going to discuss the case. Now, in DWI world, there are 3 things to do to fight a DWI. The first thing is to argue that the stop wasn't good, so we're going to discuss that. The next thing I would tell a prosecutor, or after I reviewed your case, is I'm going to argue that your psychophysical tests, which we're going to discuss, which are the field sobriety tests, which you mentioned, you either did them better than what the police say, or possibly the police officers didn't actually give you the right tests, or they didn't instruct you correctly. And I hire an expert. I usually use DWI consultants, very good expert, and their company used to train the state police, and they know exactly how to give the standard field sobriety tests. They've taught the police that give you the test. So I also myself have gone through the field sobriety tests. I've been trained in them. I've gone through the course, so I understand how they're given. And of course, I've tried cases where I've cross-examined on field sobriety tests. So I'll be able to go through that. And then the next step would be to fight what's called the ALCO test. That's the machine. You probably heard, there's a newer machine. Years ago, there was an older machine, but now there's a newer machine. And I have also, I go to my seminars, and I'm familiar with all the changes in the law, and I know about what's called the Chun litigation, and I know what actually is acceptable in the machine. I know how to read what's called the alcohol influence report, and I know how to find errors and problems in the machine.
Sounds like I came to the right person.
I appreciate that. So let's just talk a little bit more about your scenario.
Okay. So I got pulled over. He asked me to step out of the car. He started with, he shined this massive flashlight in my eyes and asked me to follow his pen.
Okay.
I complied.
Okay.
And
if it's okay, if I just want to.
Please.
Okay, so what that test was, the horizontal gaze and the nystagmus test. The police are looking to see if your pupils are fluttering. It's not a recognized test to prove DWI, but it's enough to have an officer be able to get you out of the car and to possibly take you back to the station. So they're looking to see if your eyes deviate, or they go back and forth. I, of course, could get my expert to review that and see if the police did it the right way. Let's go on to the next test.
So the next test, so after that, and again, it's a busy highway, so we're it's 30 degrees outside. He had asked me to lift my, I guess really any leg that I wanted, I think.
Oh, so the one leg stand was the next test?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he asked me to lift it, and about 6 inches off the ground, elevated a little bit, which I don't think I can do that on a good Tuesday morning, let alone at 1 o'clock in the morning on, after a couple of drinks. So I had done that. I think I did okay, but.
Okay. I want you to know it is a recognized test, so the police department did the right test. Do you remember when you did the test, they asked you to stand with your feet together? Do you remember that? Arms in your side? Did they?
I believe, yeah. Feet
Okay.
together, arms to the side.
And what about them asking you, do not perform the test until you tell you to do so? You do remember them saying that? Okay. Now, there are some clues on this test, and of course, I'm familiar with the clues. Some of the clues are if you swayed while you were balancing, if you used your arms for balance, if you hopped, or if you put your foot down. So I'd like to discuss some of those things, and of course, what I do is when I get the police report, I take notes now. And then later, when the police report comes, if it's very different than what you said, either you're not being truthful with me, or the police are not being truthful. And a lot of times, of course, I make that assessment. And
Most
then,
of the cops are not truthful.
not always, but of course, my personality is to fight, and my goal is to get the best result for you. So we get an expert and we review it. But hopefully, just so you know, 2 clues does indicate that your BAC would be about. The accuracy is that it's 65%. That if there's 2 clues exhibited, you're going to be above a 1.0.
So there's a 35% failure.
There is a 35% failure rate. That is very perceptive of you. So that's why you hire a lawyer, and we go through and we see if we could convince the prosecutor that you had done better on the tests. Also, what was the other test that they did with you? If you could
And then the next test that they asked me to do was just basically walking in a straight line.
Okay, so the officer asked you to walk 9 steps forward, right heel to toe, and he's looking to see your closeness of your feet, and he's also looking to see if you fell. Do you remember if you fell or you fell off the line or you put your foot down?
I think I did once.
Okay, so there are certain clues for it's called the walk and turn test. There's 8 clues, and another one of the clues is if you can't balance when you're starting, if you start too soon, if you stop, some people stop, if you don't touch heel to toe, if you step off the line, is another clue. If you use your arms for balance, if you lose balance on the turn, and if you take the wrong number of steps. And I, of course, will review the discovery and see how you did on the test. Do you remember if any of those things specifically that you did?
I think I just kind of screwed up once.
Okay,
I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know that I was stopped.
Okay.
For not, I guess, essentially falling off the line.
Okay, so I'll see what the clues are, and we'll see how well you did. Maybe on this test you did better, and maybe it's possible that they added another clue. And I've done this for a long time, almost 17 years now. I've tried many DWI trials, and a lot of times officers make mistakes, and that's basically what I could tell you I could do for you. So I appreciate you going through the test with me. I'm going to do a good job for you. I appreciate you having the confidence in me. Hopefully you'll retain me. And just so you know, I've handled a lot of cases in Monmouth County. I've been to those courts frequently. I have a case right now in the court that you're mentioning. I'm handling another case.
Do you know the judge?
I'm familiar with the judge. She also used to be the judge in Middlesex County, where I'm also there very frequently, so we know each other. We practiced together when she was a lawyer, so I know her well. And she respects my ability. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll be my client.